we've been talking about Connor Bedard, and Luke Richardson said that he's 13 games in, he's figured it out a bit. He's getting a real feel for the NHL. Then he followed that. That was after he had 2 goals and 2 assists. Then he follows that up with 2 more goals. And we were just sitting here talking about it. If he keeps up this pace, good God, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. But he is getting better, and he is showing up at the workout facility in the hotel when it's 6:30 in the morning. It's like the guy is so committed to his craft at that young an age. Who knows where this ends up?
I look at his face, and this kid is focused, and it's all about hockey with him. And we talked about it, 3 weeks ago. He figured it out quicker than I thought he would, getting the shot off quicker and not wasting any time. But between his speed, his smarts, and then that shot of his, it's great to watch, obviously. And then, he's just heads above everybody else, and he's living up to this, the pressure that he had on him. And it's real. We're lucky. We're going to see another era. We did it with like Denny Savard and Kane, and now we got Connor Bedard, and we're really fortunate to be able to have him.
I feel the same way. We are lucky to be able to watch this from the beginning through wherever it leads the Hawks and Connor Bedard. Chelly, on the one goal, he stole the puck and then he scored quickly. But I wonder, is there any adjustment to greatness around the league? How do you, because when you see it, and what we have seen the last week especially has been a great player starting to get it. What will the league do to try to combat that?
I don't know so much about the league, but in Connor's defense, like you talk about, they still got to surround him with some talent. And Foligno's done a great job. He gives him that room. I love what he adds that element to give him a little protection there, and he does his job, Foligno, and whoever they stick him with knows what they're out there for. So the league, the one hit, I believe it was 2 games ago. I didn't like that hit where he ended up going awkwardly into the boards, but that's a size thing too. He's not a big kid, and thank God he just was able to protect himself at the last second. But it's like the Michael Jordan rules. For sure, they're gonna. The referees will be told by the supervisors, what they can and can't do to Connor.
Yeah, and I like, as you say, that his teammates defending him, and that's an important thing to see. Look, they have something really special going on, and we know that there are young players that are going to be coming up. And I was reading a story about a couple of guys in Rockford that are living together and playing together, and they're on the way up as a tandem on defense. So, that sort of thing. It's hard not to want to push the fast forward button and see, how when is the first hat trick coming? Because that's on the way. They're building momentum with him as a player, but when are the rest of them coming up?
Yeah, well, for a defenseman, and obviously that would be the issue. It has been for a few years. A lot tougher for a young defenseman to throw him into the fire. Like that, and the guys that they have, Kaiser, these guys have handled it pretty well. They've been competitive, nearly every game. As a forward, there's these forwards. Again, that's just to surround Connor with some more skill and someone he can play with and get him the puck more. But it's going to be tough for the defensemen, and I guess they're just going to have to see how the year plays out and see where they're at, and give some of these guys at least get some experience for some of these kids at some point during the season. And I think Luke Richardson and the Hawks are going to have that luxury of getting these guys some games and not necessarily putting a ton of pressure on them to, if they were, let's say, in a playoff race. And hopefully that'll be the case at the end of the year, but, we just got to wait and see how it goes.
Well, the schedule's got to soften. It's been brutal early on, one good team after another. And you look at the way the Hawks, besides Bedard, have responded. Chelly, I think Seth Jones was on the ice for 30 minutes or so. Corey Perry is kind of always in the middle of it the way he typically is. Taylor Hall makes a difference when he's healthy. Anyone else stand out to you? Khrushchev has been very good with Bedard. How has the supporting cast performed in your view?
I think, like I said, if I start with the defense, it's Shamson already got hurt again. He's having a tough time staying healthy, but he has a presence there too with the physicality. But up to this point, they're going to have their hiccups. That's just youth. but they show signs of, the defenseman anyway, of being very calm and making plays and, no panic, and that the coverage, and that's a credit to Luke Richardson, the coverage is much better than it was last year, of not giving up that home run player, that, the goals where a goaltender has no chance. So Soderblom and Mrazek have been, I think they've been really good, knowing that they have that support that they didn't have the last couple of years. And again, with the forwards, every team looks for depth. The Hawks don't have that depth, so hopefully they can stay healthy.
Chris, the Bears are a 10-point dog heading into Detroit, and they're 0 for 15. Again, in their last 15, they haven't won against the team with a winning record. So Detroit has taken a step, and it'll be very interesting to see. The Bears still looking for the first 2-game win streak in the Matt Eberflus era.
Yeah, I went to that last game, and for whatever reason, it felt like a loss because of the offense, but I still love the Bears. Their defense has been, for the most part, they've only had one tough game all year, and that's what keeps them in the games. I don't know. It's creating offense, and I don't know who's playing. Is Fields or Badgett playing this week?
Fields, they're saying Fields, yeah.
I mean, you got that element of his using his legs and could surprise guys, but it's tough. And again, I wish the best for Fields. I hope he could figure it out. He has a half where he looks incredible, and then all of a sudden he looks like a different player. So I think it's all on him. I hate to put the burden on him as long as the defense plays the same way they've been playing.
Hey, Chelly, Craig Counsell may be hard to look at, but boy, did he win the press conference.
I saw parts of it. I still have a tough time looking at it. I sat next to that dugout for the last few years and staring at him, just wanting to punch him, hated him. And now he's a Cub, so I gotta love him. But yeah, I thought he handled it great, and it seemed like he was on the verge of just busting out laughing. It's almost like I felt like when I put the Detroit jersey on, quite honestly.
That's awesome.